Hi, and welcome to yet another Talk Wednesday. Wednesdays have quickly become my favorite day of the week because I get to have fun and interesting conversations with really cool people. Before I introduce today's guest, I, of course, need to thank Miss Shelley Lynn Hughes because without Shelley, of course, Raya and I would not be here in front of you today. But even more so, we need to give a big shout out to our Talk Wednesday sponsor, Leanne Miles at the Clinton Wilkins Mortgage team, because without Leanne, we wouldn't be here either. And so thank you, Leanne, for your sponsorship. So my guest today on our Pursuit 365 Talk Wednesday is coming to you from, I would call it somewhat of a remote spot in British Columbia. I could be way off. I'll let her explain a little bit more, but a spectacularly beautiful spot in British Columbia called Burns Lake. So larger town wise, she's close to Prince George. But coming from us from way out west is Raya Karin. Raya, welcome. So lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I'm super excited. We just got a foot of snow, so I'm just enjoying being indoors. And yeah, it's we're definitely remote, but yet we're also super accessible. So it's a bit of both.
Wonderful. Well, doing a little bit of research on you today, there looks like, of course, anybody that knows anything about British Columbia knows that there is amazing nature there. And it sounds to me like you have really taken a hold of nature and you're like, baby, I'm doing things with this. So in a nutshell, what like in a few sentences, because we as business people, of course, have to have our little elevator speech. So in a few sentences, what would you or how would you describe who you are and what you do? And I know those are sort of two conversations, but I think with you, I think they encapsulate one another. So I'll lob that one your way and let you run with it.
Sure. A girl who loves to talk in a couple sentences. So what I've done is I've taken your traditional therapies and alternative therapies, intuition, all the holistic modalities, and I basically put it together and made my own private therapy practice. And so I've got about 25 years in the field of more traditional stuff. And I've always been that nature girl, that animal girl. I was born and raised on a farm. And, so I've always been super connected and rooted in the earth and in nature. And so I figured, why not take healing in the traditional way and all the other stuff that's out there and bring it all together and make something super unique and different. We tune into the elements of nature. We spend a lot of time connecting back to our roots, hence Roots to Wellness, which is my private practice, and just diving back into that essence, that energy of where we come from, who we are, and reconnecting back to self and healing the mind, the body, and the spirit and the whole person. So that's a quick nutshell of what I'm doing and kind of a little bit of where it came from.
Okay, so you mentioned that you guys just got a huge dump of snow, and I was on your YouTube channel, and there was a video there where you were walking in the snow in your bare feet. Okay, and I'm not judging. My feet immediately got cold. I was a figure skater who, most of my youth was spent, with a blow dryer packed in my skate bag so I could warm my toes up. So, and now I'm like, okay, she's out in the snow in her bare feet. Okay, I am leaning in. I'm intrigued. I want to know more.
It's funny. I do that Obviously, we're at about -20 right now, so not when it's -20, but on a beautiful sunny day, it's the same as if you're going to do grounding or connecting to the earth, earthing. You can do it in all seasons, and it is brave and daring to go out and to connect in the wintertime with snow. So I do that, and then I also do polar dips, which is really fun. So it's connecting with that element. So snow would be more of your rain, your water element, and then with the earth element. So I don't really feel the cold necessarily, but at the same time, it's something I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. I'm stepping into something that is unique and different and being brave, being scared to death, but showing up anyway. And then just pushing myself. And I think we do that in healing too, pushing yourself outside of that safety net, that comfort zone that you have, and challenging yourself to try something that you've never tried before. You might love it and you might not really like it, and that's okay too. And I think for me, I love to just that challenge, that do the things that people are like, well, why would, that's different. Like, why would you do that? And it's just who I am. I've kind of done that since I was little. Growing up on a farm, I lived, if I could, in my bare feet, not always in the winter because it was a lot of snow and cold, but if I could always, I feel more connected, more grounded, more calm. It's great for anxiety, all those great things. So, and then sometimes just laying in the snow, like on a trail or in an area where it's plowed, and if it's nice and sunny and warm, taking your shoes off, you're getting that beautiful warmth and that energy. So yeah, I was thinking about it today as I was out there, actually. So that's quite funny that you brought that up. But it's such a beautiful connection to the earth and to my soul and to just the essence that is out there, if that makes any sense.
And you know what? It doesn't, that's the thing, right? It does make complete sense, but at the same point, it doesn't have to make sense either, because what people do and who people are, and we could go on and on and on with the list of that. It's not going to resonate with everybody, and it's not going to be everybody's thing, but that's where you don't have to apologize for it. I don't have to apologize for it, because who it's meant for, they're going to connect with it big time, right? Or if somebody's open-minded enough, they're going to be like, okay, like I'm intrigued, and and I'm as a rule one of those people. They're, most things I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. Like, I'll keep my mind open. And some things you've been like, yeah, and other things you're like, whoa. And that's the thing, right? So if it's not for you, move on. And if it is, then all the better, right? And all the better. And it's just so wonderful that you have really felt this calling, and you have now, I'm assuming. So what was sort of your journey here? Because I was going to start to put words in your mouth, and I need to stop myself there. So what was your journey? So you mentioned that you were a little bit more quote unquote traditional previously, and now, you've been on this path. So give us a little bit of your story, I guess, there, kind of what has brought you to where you are today.
I think a part of my exploration and healing in my own journey, in the 48 years I've been on the planet, the things I've leaned into, the types of healing that I've really resonated with and that have helped me, and the mentors I've had, the people I've met along the way, my parents as well, my dad and his background, being raised on the farm, all those kinds of things. My dad was in the traditional psychology, and I was like, well, that's cool, but I'd like to do it different. I want to do it my own way, but I still loved it. I wanted to do something. So I've worked a lot with a lot of at-risk populations, so abused women and children, high-risk youth in and out of homes, foster kids, working with anyone from basically 3 years old and into their 80s. So we're working heavy duty trauma work, all that kind of stuff, what I found is that I was not being able to spend as much time working with the whole person. So working more on, the paperwork and the stats and the numbers and the things. And I just sat with myself and I'm like, 25 years ago, I'd always wanted to have my own thing. I just never knew what that was really going to look like, but it was out there. I had put it out in the universe and left it there. But I also realized that we're not numbers. We're not statistics. We're not a contract. We're human beings having this beautiful, soulful experience. And when I started to work, especially with the neurodiverse youth and children, and I am as well with ADHD and things like that, which just make me see the world differently. I thought, you know what? Why don't I just step into my very own thing that can encompass so much more to bring in to build these beautiful toolkits for people to use to show them other ways than, we're not a diagnosis, we're not a number, we're not a label, we are a very individual, unique, authentic soul who is here to have this beautiful experience. And so that's how I've developed my private practice. And then, like I said, through grief and loss and PTSD, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, all these things that I've gone through and have been up on my path. I thought, you know what, if I can meet all these people and learn on my own and make my own lens with which I look through, like you said, some will resonate, some won't. But at the same time, I want to show people that there's always other ways. There's this world out there that's full of learning and growing and change and evolution and all these things that, and helping, like I said, and helping all the people that I've helped so far and the people that have been coming in the world, we live in so much trauma and all very different types of trauma. But it's so beautiful to be able to walk the journey with my clients, whether I'm using nature, we're doing retreats, we're doing, small groups, whatever we're doing, I get to go on that journey and I get to show people a different path and inspire them to find that light and find that courage and that strength and that resiliency within them to keep on keeping on.
So, yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And thank you for sharing, a little bit of, the fact that you've struggled yourself and you've had some hardships and, that's not always the easiest thing to admit, but that's where too, out of the ashes, so to speak, right? And taking those experiences and not burying yourself in shame with them, but instead empowering yourself with them and to say, I can lift others up now as well. And that's really, really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. So was there
Hence the pillow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So was there a particular moment? Was there a particular person? Was there, was there a catalyst, I guess would be the encompassing word. Was there a catalyst for you that, or was it literally like one day you were just like, this is where I'm going, or this is what I'm going to do? Like, I'd love to unpack a little bit more about this.
It's interesting because, like I said, I watched my dad, and he was one of the biggest influences in my life. And I watched him do things very differently, and he always inspired me by the different lens with which he looked. And then, like I said, as I started to learn and see and grow, and I'm like I said, I'm always tentative sometimes, but then I'm like, oh, just go for it. You don't know what's on the other side. And so that curiosity, I had always had that dream that I wanted my very own practice, but bigger than that, I actually want my very own healing center. So I have had that vision also for a very long time, something that came to me, like I said, over 25 years ago. And I realized that when my husband and I owned our own business for about 13 years, very opposite of what I do, which is a pub and grill. But what I realized is I really loved being my own boss, um, doing things my way, showing up in the way that was most authentic to me. And I loved all the work I did in all the different agencies I was within. And I could see the work that I loved, but I didn't fit in the mold. I don't fit inside of a box. I don't fit inside of a certain kind of room. I'm such more of a free spirited soul. And I do like to do things my way because it is my way. It's what I'm supposed to do. And I really started to dive in and trust my intuition and that knowing in my gut, in my heart that was leading me. And I allowed my heart to lead me. I've had, some different, like I said, some different things in my life. That's very young. At 20, I lost someone in a to a drunk driver in a car accident. He was so spiritual, somebody so young that was so spiritual that showed me things even then that I knew, and I kept them within me. And I thought, wow, like I want to go down that path one day. And, and so there's all these people and these situations that planted seeds. And I think it was 2019, we were actually sitting at Christmas dinner. And I had already been working on leaving where I was working and opening and officially just saying, no, I'm just working for myself now. I'm doing my own private stuff. And we sat at the table at Christmas dinner and throwing names around. Like, what can I call it? I had this whole list of names. And so we were talking about it and playing with it. And, I'm sitting there, took a bite of mashed potatoes, and all of a sudden I'm like, it's roots to wellness. And then what's roots to what do you mean? And I'm like, well, for my practice. And they're all like, well, that's perfect. And I said, because it's about going back to our roots, to who we are, where we came from, the whole essence of that. And so that it just became that. And it's just, that's where the name anyways birthed, but everything else has just kind of been it's like, building with Lego. You just keep adding things. And then and it still has changed. Since then, it's evolved tenfold. So, and I've become very much trust and allow, and, putting my intention out there and going, okay, I trust it. I don't even know, where the opportunities, like we're sitting here today, or writing the writing to come for me for, Pursuit 365, or the, other things that I've done. They just kind of, I'm open and they land. And I'm like, ooh, I like the energy of this one. I want to go with it. And it's amazing to see how it comes. And I used to be a very shy, I am very introverted, believe it or not, but I was very much an observer, but yet I love to help people. And I've been that way since I was little, like itty bitty. So I think diving into that inner child that's been waiting for me to come back home to her so we can have this incredible journey, and just teaching people to play and to find the joy in that childlike way of life, because we become so much a doer energy in the world. We're just doing and doing and doing and doing and doing, and we can't. We're tired. And so going back now to that being, and what does that look like, and how can I help people land and find their roots and be grounded and find that center, that equilibrium again in their lives. So that's my long-winded
that hit a nerve with me. So, and I know I'm not the only entrepreneur out there who, has possibly lost their sense of play and fun. And, cause we have a lot of balls we gotta juggle and keep in the air, and a lot of moving parts. And interestingly enough, I just started reading a book called The Fun Factor. And it's, because it's something I'm very, very aware that I want and I need in my life. And honestly, I didn't play even a lot as a child. I had a very hyper scheduled life and whatnot. So it's not even like I can necessarily return. It's like, I gotta kind of get to know me altogether. So selfishly, I'm gonna ask you, okay, so I've come across you in the book or here, and I've heard you say this fun thing. Okay, I'm leaning in now. So I'm reaching out to you. Yeah, I'm putting you totally on the spot here. But like what would be your process, with somebody maybe reaching out like, okay, you said fun, I need that, what does this look like, Raya? How do we do this fun thing? How would you take me from there?
It's and what is so much fun is that each individual person brings with them their own experiences and their own things that they're seeking, or like you said, some things, oh, that intrigues me. So that little curiosity is making you want to ask for something, or, you're willing to kind of peel back and look through there and say, well, ooh, but I really want to do something fun but I don't know what it looks like. So showing up and being curious is super huge. So each person who comes to me everything is designed for them. So you coming to me, it would be designed exactly for you. What are you seeking? Are you wanting to get in touch with all of those beautiful younger versions of you, get to know them, get to see who they were? What did they need? Did they need to be seen and heard? Did they need to have more play? Have they been knocking at the door trying to get your attention for many years? And now it's the time to discover that. And if you had such a scheduled way of being when you were young, and that's just what it was, not right or wrong, but you wanted more play, how do we go back and visit those pieces and bring in that play now as you are as an adult? So it's getting to know that childlike side, doing some inner child work, doing some really playful stuff, taking you outside of your comfort zone, going barefoot, connecting back to the earth, doing some art and play therapy, doing some fun things, doing some movement or dance, or, even chanting, like whatever it is that can bring you. And that's where the retreats are super fun, because I can really bring people away from their elements, away from their scheduled expectations. And we go out and we have some fun. And we just dive into that. We let go of all of those expectations and things that we're always overscheduling ourselves for. So holding that container and that space for bringing back the joy, bringing back that playfulness, and if it means that we go back even further than this lifetime for you, seeing if it's something in the lineage that has come along, if it's the experiences you've had, if it's traumas you've gone through, whatever it is, we get to unpack this stuff, which is super exciting. It might be scary, but it is exciting to watch people unpack and find out who they really are under all this. That person that, like I said, I feel like this little girl that's waited for so long to be like, come on, Steph, I want to go play. Like, just take me outside into nature. Let's go. Let's do a treasure hunt, and I think maybe because I've worked with, like I said, all age groups. But I also know that child within me, whether it's the magic of a rainbow or a sunset or sunrise or walking barefoot in the ocean, finding a seashell, fresh snowstorm, whatever it is, if I can stop and take that joy in and share it forward and show people, because we do live in such a virtual reality too right now, everything's so accessible, but nature has the 4 seasons. It has all of the beautiful elements. And if we can connect to that, we can connect to that beautiful inner child and all the versions, whether it, 0 to whatever, 0 to 18, and just keep on going with that. Right. So it's individual, it's beautiful, it's fun. It can be messy. But there's so many, you discover a whole new being you never realized was inside of you, I think. And that's the fun part, is to watch people step up out of that and just feel that sense of playfulness and freedom and being able to be that most authentic, courageous little self that they want to be. So there you go.
Cool. Now, what does the process with looking, with working with you look like? Does, you mentioned you have retreats, but I know too you mentioned you have a private practice, and
Mhm.
so I'm curious, all right. So now I'm like, all right, I'm intrigued. I'm in. I want to do some of this fun. I want to learn how to have fun, Raya. What do I do next? So what would be that process?
So, yeah, people usually what happens is we do a quick discovery call, get that, get the questions. I always encourage people before they show up for that. It's 20 minutes. Have some questions for me, have some things for me. I tune in also energetically to that person and just kind of see if any questions come to me that I have for them of what they're seeking, what they're looking for. And then we kind of, in that 20 minutes, we go, yeah, you know what, we need to work together. This is a great energy exchange. And then with my virtual clients, it's great. We meet like this. We meet face to face. We have, we do some work. Usually there's a lot of stuff that will come up. There might be certain things people want to start with. And then we just go session by session. People will do either weekly sessions or sign up for a package. And it's beautiful because even though we're not in the same place, I can tune in. I can take myself outdoors into nature. I can encourage you, if you have the availability, to go out in nature with me, but in your own favorite space. We can do work that way. So it's wherever I can tune in, kind of however. I can tune in for my beautiful office with the sun shining in and full of plants. And we just go whatever's coming in intuitively for me that the person needs to work with, that comes up first, and we just go on this journey. So it's not necessarily exactly a linear journey, because healing is not. It's much like a river. It flows, it's up and down, and it's a very non-structured way of doing things, I guess. But I feel like if we can take that structure away, we can allow that healing and that change and evolving of that soul to really happen. And then, like I said, I do offer retreats both up north, and I actually have one coming up on the Sunshine Coast at the end of March, beginning of April. So I'm starting to go into different places and use different spots for different reasons, because of you've got different energies and stuff. So that's more of a group experience. And then I have some people who hire me for just one-to-one private retreats, and they want to go all in for 2 or 3 days and like healing deep in, and they've got my attention for that entire time. And we go really deep, and that's hours in a day. We go for different exercises. We go into different spaces in nature. We do stuff at work at night in wherever we have decided to have this retreat. And that's very intense. And that's for people who are they're wanting to rip it wide open, and they're ready, and they know that it's going to be really a deep, soulful experience. And like I said, yeah, it's really catered to the person, what they're seeking. And all of my clients, about 95% of them, are coming to me with really heavy trauma. We've got, abuse and neglect and losses, deep losses, all those kinds of things. Growing up in alcoholic homes, all of these really deep stuff, which I think many people are carrying their own traumas, right? So I open that space for them to have the safety to unpack that, and and just uncovering the things about themselves that that they're the things that have happened to them don't define them, but it did impact them in their lives. So yeah, that's kind of where I go with it. And like I said, it's so intuitive. So I'm also do a lot of really intuitive work, and that's kind of the forefront. So that's how I start. And then we just go on a journey and meander, and we find the most beautiful things. We dive into meditations and mindfulness and different practices. They get homework, which they, but it's great stuff. It's for them for journaling. It's for developing affirmations. unloading, getting stuff out and doing some journaling and writing and all sorts of things. And people have access to me in that if they do the monthly, they have that extra time, extra space, emails, messages, those kinds of things. So I'm pretty readily available to everybody, depending on what they need. So, yeah.
Perfect. And where's your favorite place to be found? So, website, social media, where's the best place that if somebody, what you're saying is resonating with someone and they want to act, where's the best place for them to connect with you?
My favorite place, I mean, I have my website, which I'm actually in the middle of building a new one. But I love Instagram. And on there, on my bio, I have a link tree, which gives you every little detail on there. You can go and explore anywhere with me on that space. And it just seems to be my favorite. I pop on there and put some videos and different information. And I just like to play in that space because I find the energy to be quite nice there. And like I said, and then when I remember to, I update my YouTube and things like that. So but all the availability is right there in my Instagram. So yeah.
Now I just popped are you the at Raya Karin Roots of Wellness? Is that where somebody will find you on Instagram?
Yeah, and I think there's you go Raya and then the underscore, right? And then each one is an underscore, I believe, on each piece.
So okay.
If that makes sense.
I'm gonna look you up right now.
Yeah.
So I get it. I don't know where I found this particular one. I saw it somewhere. I didn't make it up. I know I found it.
No, you probably. But I'm pretty sure I had changed it so that there's an underscore for each in between, like Raya Karin Roots of. Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Roots,
I am going
and
to.
then Roots to Wellness. Make sure as well.
I can do it.
Yes.
At Roots to Wellness, Raya. Okay, so, and then is there an underscore between Raya and Karin?
I think
in it? Because it just goes to dot.
I'm pretty sure there is.
Here we
I think I did it on all of them. Yeah, on all the pieces in it. Yeah.
There
you go.
Nice.
Now you know where to find me.
That's right. We know she loves to be on Instagram. Okay. Wow. Fascinating. So fascinating. So fascinating. Okay. So before we wrap up today, I don't know if you've watched any of the previous Talk Wednesdays or not, but I have been integrating what has turned into like the most incredible question. It's not my question. Shout out to Rob Murgatroyd, a coach I work with, great podcaster. And this is his question, but I love it. And I love the answers that we've been getting. So I'm going to throw it out there. Okay. So to wrap up, if you, Raya, were going to do a TED Talk on nothing you are known for, what would your TED Talk be about?
Nothing I'm known for. Now that's an interesting way to put it.
See, there's the twist on it, right?
I know,
little twist.
Right? Because if you think about it, I am just coming into the space and I'm just evolving. So I could choose anything. I would choose, I keep leaning to that nature. I'm not known for it yet, but I'm starting to get there. So that diving into that nature warrior, that nature girl, that connection. So looking at what we've been talking about. And like I said, I'm just moving into this space. So I'm not known for anything. So diving deeper into that playful side of that and what that would look like. And that journey.
All right. Well, we'll stay tuned and we'll be watching for you on the TEDx stage. down the road. Oh, Raya, it has been an absolute pleasure, my honor to learn more about you and your gifts and your passion, really. And it's so obvious how passionate you are about what you do. I'm picking up on that, through StreamYard. So that says a lot. So thank you for sharing your gifts. Thank you for marching to the beat of your own drum and doing you, because the world needs more of that. It really, really does. So thank you to you. Thank you, of course, to our beautiful and amazing founder, Shelley Lynn Hughes. And thank you again, to Leanne Miles for the sponsorship of the Pursuit 365 Talk Wednesdays. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a fantastic Wednesday. And until next time.